Lisbon? I don't know. Lisboa.
Lisbon.
Ay, ay. Stupid machines.
Machines. Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
So checking the convoy gap above. Joining convoy. Okay. Alright, I'm in convoy, so I should
Oh
drive.
yeah, you're there. You're on the
Payment?
fence,
Fuck!
and I'm
Dude.
right behind you. So don't wait. I need to go back. I think. Wait.
This was so weird. I mean, Discord getting all weird on me, and then on top of that, this. Oh wow! Okay, let me see how much damage I have.
I think you can.
Oh
I mean,
wow!
you-
Only one person? That's not bad.
Yeah, because you were very slow.
Not bad at all. I think I remember I was going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get out now? You're right, like next to me.
Yeah, just go left as left as you can, and just fit like behind me when the.
Can I go
Oh.
inside?
I don't know. Can you?
Look at that!
You're slimmer than I thought. Nice.
How about that?
Okay.
That was nice. Alright, so I am going to turn left here.
Left. Mm-hmm. I think even I have to sleep because I was waiting for you for a long time.
Oh shit, sorry dude, I don't know what the fuck went on. You were constantly on the headset, or were you looking at your PC?
No, on the headset.
Shit, I don't know how that works. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't picture you like in your
Yeah.
headset really inside your virtual truck.
Okay, let's hope nothing like this happen again.
Yeah.
Prepare. So yeah, all in all, you're very harsh.
Yes. Yes. Sorry about that. I am.
No, it's okay. I mean,
can't-
it's actually something that I noticed like some time ago, that I am a person that
You want me
is
to accept?
very. Yeah, I cannot sleep. I thought I can. Oh shit.
Oh shit! Sorry, sorry, Gabo. Let me just move this way. You're moving with me. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I came outside in the
So-
camera. Go ahead now. You can
Because
jump
of
in.
my. Yeah, just slept. Because of my work, I am very like. I am always the devil's advocate.
Which
Always.
is a good thing. I even same here. I like listening to the other side. I mean, I like talking to you because I told you like there was a lot of times where you have changed my mind. So I'm not tied to my opinion. Like I can, I'm not married to my opinion, but except in this regard, because to me, like I guess it's because of how I look at responsibility. Wait 1 sec. I'll just take on a job.
Alright, take a step too far.
What? Oh, okay. In real life.
Yeah.
For a moment, I was like, what? I didn't get it. Fuck this. I don't want your shitty fucking.
Shitty
I'm gonna-
boxes.
Take this one, okay? Oh man, but we need to. The interesting jobs are in Center Europe, like Germany and crap. Like there's some nice. Can we teleport over there? I mean, wait.
I mean, we can. Where?
But I don't
Which-
have. Berlin is where you have to reach, right? Berlin to Salzburg. Okay, we need to go to Berlin. But the problem is, Gabo, the moment so it offer expires in 17 hours. If our teleport doesn't happen in 17 hours, we can go and check. Who cares?
What? What do you mean?
I mean, the
Okay,
offer will expire in 17 hours.
Oh, okay.
So Berlin
It
is where.
depends. If you're doing the job market, the freight market, then it might expire. But if you're doing external contracts, it uses the real clock.
Oh, I see.
So, yeah,
External
so that
contract.
will-
I didn't check external contract. Let me check. Quick job. External contracts. Synchronizing. Oh, there's a nice one. Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's a nice one, boy. This is good. This is good. Wheel loader.
Boy.
Oh wait, can you also get it? I mean, both of us can give. Oh man, there are some nice ones here, dude. Beautiful. I don't know, Gab. I'm spoiled for choices. Let's see. Why are we getting excited looking at cargo? Okay, so there is. I'm going for this. We are transporting locomotive engine. Come on. Man, you can't deny me my pleasure.
Of
So,
course. I mean, I still have to go to with you. I still have to go with you.
oh, okay. So okay, I got it.
I
Continue.
mean, sorry, you still have to go to the cargo, so I'll just follow you.
It's
That's what I wanted to
warning.
say.
Okay, it's warning me that my truck's capability is less. Fuck you. How dare you? I'll pull it with my teeth if I
It's
have to.
it's a heavy engine.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'll pull it with my teeth if I have to. Not that it makes any sense, but it's right here. So anyway, yeah, you were saying about your job. You were saying like,
Yeah, even today I had like a conversation with my supervisor that I was like discussing on a meeting with another person. He was like asking me questions and I was like giving him answers about my algorithm and we couldn't like get to a consensus, right? He was like asking me a question, I was giving him an answer, he didn't understand the answer and back and forth for like over 5 minutes.
text. You mean text or voice?
Voice.
Mm.
And then
Whoa, whoa,
oh,
whoa.
you just
Fuck.
yeah,
No, I didn't hit
so
him. I
you-
didn't hit him. Whoa. Crazy ambulance, huh?
and then I got a message from my supervisor that I should have like said this. I shouldn't have said that it's so definitively. That I should have made it more open-ended because I'm not 100% sure that this would work. For example, that's why because of my work and also because of kind of my nature of who I am, let's say, I have really like opinions that are not strong,
Hmm.
very like light and are very, as I said, like I play the devil's advocate almost all the time. So if somebody has a very strong opinion, like you,
Hmm.
I will almost always like look at the other side. I'm like, is it like 100% the case? Are you sure it's 100% the case?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's a. I don't see any problem in that. I mean, 90% of the time I am that way, but there are like, I guess again, I would have to say certain things come from, like you said. I agree. It's from the nature of your work. Like,
Yeah.
I absolutely hate ambiguity in instructions. Like that is
Mm-hmm.
something I cannot stand. Like, and
I
in
mean, of
Japan,
course, I do. Also like when you have this strong opinion, I
mm,
will be the devil's advocate. But if that happened to me,
mm,
I would be at I would be saying the same thing as you're saying right
because I generally try my best to give the best instruction. I'm not saying I succeed. That's
now. Mm-hmm.
besides the point. I might not succeed in doing that because the best example I have is one of my colleague.
Mm-hmm.
She finds English a little hard, so she understands English text very well. So I write it down for her, and she can really grasp what I'm saying. But I think conversation, it might be my accent, it might be because I speak generally I speak faster than um, did you, by the way, sorry Gabo, did you get the cargo?
Yeah, I just
Can you see the cargo at least?
realized. I just realized that I have to do it through our session. Yeah, now the cargo appeared for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where? Where did it appear? I don't see it.
I mean, for you it probably is not there, but it's here for me.
Did you see? But can you see what I'm carrying?
Yes, I can
Looks
see what you're carrying,
beautiful,
and
man.
you will
Holy
see what
fuck.
I'm carrying just in a second. I have to connect to it.
Okay, I'll move a little bit.
I mean, I can bump you, I think. Just
No,
move.
I'm not in Ghost. But
Oh,
you are, so it doesn't matter. One of us needs to be.
now you can see my cargo, right?
Yeah, can you? Oh, it's the same thing. Okay, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Looks awesome, right? Like if you get out and look at it, it looks something amazing.
Yeah.
I can smell the grease. Anyway, so that's so odd.
I can drive in front of you so we can look at it while we drive.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's actually awesome. Go ahead. You can go ahead. Or I'll go ahead a little bit and then I'll. Oh man, I have to go in like gear 3.
Yeah, but it's heavy. I can feel how heavy it is.
Yes, I'm like in gear 3. Oof.
I almost bumped
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No, no, you didn't. You were like, yeah, hairline, but that's okay. That's a skill, man. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I do see what you mean. But like, see, for me, instructions like, board games, like, I have a, initially I would have agreed with you, like, because of, I guess you could say I judge it a little harshly because I'm trying to control how much board games I buy, what games we play. So they have to be like
Mhm.
something really special or something from my favorite designers. Then I can like excuse it a little bit, and even then I don't feel publishers have any excuse for this. And it's not because of the lack of trying. It's like, say for example, autonomous driving. Okay, let's take that
Mhm.
as an example. It's a new
Okay.
concept. Mistakes will happen,
Mhm.
and we will learn from our mistakes, and we'll that'll add to the library, to the memory or library, whatever, and then the AI will get better and better and better and better. So I can understand that. Like, I'm not going to judge someone who I'm not talking about Elon Musk, but I'm saying any engineer who does it wrong, and like, oh, you should have done it properly. No, because you're creating something absolutely new with a lot of unknown, what do you call, like unknown factors.
Mhm.
And then the word that you used, which is something I learned new, I keep forgetting it. That three M's, or sorry,
Mhm.
yeah,
It's messy.
Missy, yeah. So, which you explained, which was amazing. So, those kind of things that we are learning, and so what I love is we create solutions to problems like these, right? Like making these kind of concepts. However, in
Mhm.
board games, it's not a new thing, and like there's already an example set for you. So you already have a proper example of working board game. You can see certain things out there. You have people to talk to. BGG is there. BGG is such an active community because it's small, and there are people who are passionate. Like most of the play testers or the people who are looking at rulebook are not paid. In fact, I was in Paul Grogan's Slack channel because I was part of his Patreon. That's why I had access to his Slack channel and all the work that he was doing, right?
Mhm.
So it's not like he was paying me or anything. And I wasn't expecting it. It's like pure hobby, like to learn how to do things. And so when you have all these things, board game publishers have no excuse. They should do it properly. And it's not because it's an unknown factor. You have 10,000 examples. You just have to
Mm.
pick one and just look at it. Like, look at Alia's rulebook. Alia's rulebook, whenever you look at it, like, doesn't matter which game you play from them. So you have the rules, and say you forgot the rules. You're taking the game after, say, 2 years. Okay.
Mhm.
So what the way they have done is, the pages are like, the page itself. One page itself is divided into, like, imagine on the right hand side of the page there is this column. Okay, the main
Mhm.
rule is to the right, and then the summary of the rule is on the left. So the summary of the rule is for people who have already played the game, who has already gone through the rules, but need a little refresher.
Mm.
So beautiful, amazing concept, and
Mhm.
I feel many, and there are some who follow it. And then you talked
Yes.
about individual developers. So Richard Breeze. Now Richard Breeze is a very old. He's credited for inventing the worker placement mechanic. So Keyflower, you
Okay.
played Keyflower, right? And
I don't know.
you, me,
Have I?
Azu at Adam's place.
Oh, Keyflower. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
he's that designer. So all his game starts with Keydom,
Yeah.
Keyflower.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he has a publishing house, and it's not very big. Maybe, I don't know, 5 6 people. His rule books are amazing. Absolutely no problem. Like, it's you if you sit and read through it properly, everything is there. Like, every text,
Mm.
everything is explained properly. Then you have so he also follows that Alias rule style. I think he kind of borrowed that design from them. That you have the main rule on the
Mhm.
left hand side, and then on the left hand side, right hand side, you have the summary, which is awesome, to especially to remind you of the stuff. And
Mhm.
then you come to Vital's rulebook. Vital's rulebook are heavy on examples. Like, that is Paul Grogan's style of writing. Now, I am not a fan of how long his rulebook goes, but Vital's rules. They are
Yeah.
so lengthy, right? So you need to have
Yes.
that level of text. But even in that, like, when people go, I did not, like, if you go to BGJ, I did not understand this. How do you do that? Then people will say, page number, so and so, the rule says this, and this is how you should do it. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? It's not like people are
Mhm.
assuming things like Agra.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think
Mhm.
it is like this, but I'm not 100% sure. Wait for the designer. That is something I cannot accept, is what I'm saying.
Hmm. Yeah, but I kind of okay. I get what you're saying. I understand. Like, I can get behind what you're saying with all those big publishers, right? I think this conversation started with Isaac,
For me, it
which
was mainly not Isaac. For me, it was because I haven't read the rulebook. I wouldn't know. This one.
I mean, okay,
What is that name of the game? You have been eaten. Fucking annoying.
mm,
I'm
okay,
disappointed, but the disappointment is totally on me. I was hyped, so it didn't live up to my hype.
Yeah, because okay, but we started this conversation, let's say, from Isaac. You didn't read the rule book, but I said that it has some ambiguity in the rule book,
Hmm.
and you said that, oh, I hate that
Yeah,
and stuff
generally I
like that.
don't. Yeah, I was being
Yeah,
very general. I mean, I wasn't talking about Isaac specifically because I haven't read. I wouldn't know.
yeah, and like this stuck with my mind that I cannot be angry at these dudes because they made a Kickstarter, they did the board game. I don't think you can buy the board game. I don't think they have a publisher, you know?
Right, right.
I think they made it by themselves. They tried, they wanted to make something cool. They made something cool. They just had some ambiguity in the rulebook. I can even give you the example of what gave me the most problem in that rulebook.
Hmm.
So there was this, as I said, those treasure cards which can be activated in response to any action. That's how it says. It can be activated in response to any action,
Okay.
right? And then there's a paragraph, like later on, describing how you can respond to other players' actions. So another player is making an action, and then you can respond using those treasure cards,
Hmm.
right? And because of that, because of these two things, and no like examples, because this is a small rule book, right? It's
Hmm.
like a piece of paper,
Oh,
like
that's
you
it.
can. That's it,
Nice.
two-sided, and that's it.
Nice.
It's foldable also. So uh, I assumed, actually, that's what I have to say, that you can only use those treasure cards in response to other players' actions.
Hmm.
Because when you say in response, you can use these cards in response to any action, and then you describe that you can respond to other players' actions. I assume you can only use them in response to other players'
Hmm.
actions.
This is
But
a classic
apparently you
problem
can.
of writing the same thing in different ways. Hmm.
I mean, first it was the description of the treasure cards. What are treasure cards? And it says treasure cards are cards that they can be like active cards, passive cards, and paid cards.
Hmm.
So for active cards, you have to activate them themselves. For passive cards, they are always active, right? They're passive. And for paid cards, you have to pay the cost, and then you can activate them.
Right.
And it says in there that you can activate them, like those active cards, you can activate them in response to any action. And then it says those interactions with players. That's the other section. It describes the interactions with players. You can interact using those trinket cards. So it's logical.
Hmm.
But because of the way they use the word respond to
Hmm.
any action, I would never think that I can use these cards in response to my own actions, you know?
But you can.
Would, you can. Would you
Hmm.
think like that?
I have to read it, Gabo. Based
Yeah,
on what?
from
Yeah. Based on your
but
description, it's difficult to
mhm,
gauge that. But yeah,
exactly.
I see what you mean.
And what's more, nobody has this question. Everyone has other questions. And
Hmm.
I can get why everyone has other questions because there's like stacking effects. I've played Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot, and
Hmm.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Has those trap cards which you activate in response to like another player plays a monster. And I have to do my part. I have to swing the memes and stuff
Hmm.
of Yu-Gi-Oh! So I understood that very clearly by reading that book because I
You had a
had the
reference,
background
yes. Hmm.
of Yu-Gi-Oh! But nobody is understanding that because nobody plays Yu-Gi-Oh! But then I couldn't find the description of like a single example of using those trinket cards on your own actions. There's an even comprehensive rule book written by fans based on questions that were asked to the designer and the guy who made the game, right?
Hmm.
They asked him questions on Twitter. He responded to them, and then based on that, then they made a comprehensive rulebook.
Cool.
Even there,
So
if
they made it. I mean, they developed an errata for it.
what?
The
Can you say that
developers,
again?
they came back with an errata after consolidating all
Y-
the questions.
yes, yes. I mean, I think fans actually like accumulated all those questions in like one PDF, let's say, and like making it more comprehensive. Which actually, in some ways, they overcomplicated stuff, which I didn't like. And also, they didn't have the answer to my question, which means nobody asked that question.
Hmm.
Nobody had the problem of understanding, then you can use these in response to your own actions, which was mind-blowing to me because I read those two sentences and then the comprehensive thing, I think 3 times, and I still wasn't sure if I can use this on my own actions, you know?
Hmm.
But still, as I said, I couldn't be mad at them because, you know, because I didn't feel like. First of all, I like the game. I like the base game, the video game. I like the franchise and stuff. But also, like, I didn't feel like this like big publisher had any like influence in that you just said that big publishers make those shitty rulebooks because they don't want to pay money. I didn't feel it like that. I thought it felt like just this guy who made Isaac. I don't know. I think he's just one guy. I don't know if he
Okay.
has a team. He just wanted to make a board game. He made it right, but he made the rulebook wrong. That's it. I mean, I can forgive him for that, right?
Hmm. Yeah, like I said, you're more
And
kinder. I probably wouldn't, even if
yeah.
I'm a fan of the game.
But what was the most mind blowing is that nobody had that question again,
Hmm.
except me. And I'm like, okay, so does this make
That is probably a case of
bad
interpretation,
rulebook?
right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
but still, I have to assume things,
Like
right?
let me ask you this. Like, can you play it
Hmm.
without the errata at all? Leave the questions that the fans have asked. Can you set up the game and play the game with the rulebook that
Yes,
has
yes.
been provided? Yeah, then it's okay.
But you will have uh, 2 questions I had. So 95% of the rulebook is, very good. It's small, it's concise, it's condensed. But there's these 2 questions that I felt like other people have had those questions about the stacking effects and stuff.
Right.
So that might be also not in the rulebook explained properly, because it's just so you can it just says that you can respond to other players' actions, and then those cards that responded those effects will be resolved first. That's all that it says, you
Hmm.
know. So there might be questions. Okay, if I use this card on this card, can I combine it like that, and what happens, right? So it will not in this small rulebook. It will not answer those very
Hmm.
specific questions. But still, you can play the game. You know, you might get sometimes
So how
annoyed
do you get
because it
the
doesn't.
answer then? Like, for something that you have questions like this, if it's not there in the rulebook, you have to go to the forums and wait for someone to tell you.
I guess, or you just assume, as you said, like we are playing it this way. You
No,
know.
look, I mean, if it's a game, I still, I mean, of course, if you ask me what my opinion is on this, I would still say that, that is, for me, that's simply not something that I would get behind. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter who they are. I'm talking about me as well. Like, tomorrow, if I design a game, or even if, say, it's Reno who design the game and then
Oh
the
shit!
rule is bad, what happened?
Are you behind me?
Yes, but I'm in, like, a
We
little far.
okay. I
You
didn't
took a
go
long turn?
right.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
I
keep an eye out. Yeah.
okay.
Good thing. So I would like make sure it's correct. Now the rule again. I don't know. Like, I can't speak in context to Isaac because I don't know nothing about it.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
let's just say as a game, like, when what you're explaining to me, yes, it's a Kickstarter. He's not a big publisher, but that doesn't that is not an excuse to make a game and say, like, because if you're making a video game, fine, you can patch it. A board game is absolutely worthless without the board, without the you can just go buy toys. Like, if you want something, like, for example, let's just say Monster Hunter, okay, like a game that I'm playing right now, I'm enjoying, and the
Mhm.
game comes out, the rules are so fucked up, and I got it because I am such a big fan of the game. But why would I buy a game which, like, the whole purpose of buying a board game, now everybody has a different reason. One sec, Gabo. Here, where do I have to take a right? Do I go here? No, right? Oh, yeah.
Wait.
Correct. It is correct.
Did you go right?
I mean, I went right, and
I actually went straight, and I went on a very interesting road. I
oh,
think.
okay. What do you mean?
Like a rural road. Rural.
Huh? Why
Maybe
is
this
my
way is more interesting.
okay, my vehicle is, like, moving so slow. Yeah, sometimes you get the beautiful road. Remember, like, once I had lost the way like that, and then
Yeah.
it was amazing. So yeah, coming back to that,
I mean,
for
you
me,
can play the game.
hmm.
You will have to assume some stuff, but you can play the game and have
But like
fun.
you said, if
It's
it's a
not.
party game, then I don't give a shit. I
Yeah,
mean, I generally
that's
don't
why.
care if party game rules are like ambiguous because I feel that makes it more appealing for me.
Hmm.
You know, because you're making your own, you're just goofing around with players, and you had fun. You did some mistake, and then we find out things ourselves. I get that,
Mm-hmm.
but like if it's
Maybe
a
this is like a very thin line because, as I said, it's a party game, but it's a little bit heavier than your normal party game.
hmm,
And maybe because of that, because it has a lot of like more like not a lot, but some more rules than a normal party game, it feels a little bit, okay, but what in this situation? What in this situation? And you start having questions, and it's a little bit weird. Uh, I can, as I said, I can forgive them that. In this case, probably if it was a huge game that I paid a lot of money and I wasn't a fan, it was like a very ugly German game and it had fucked up rulebook, I would be I would be very disappointed and very angry.
hmm.
But this is like I think this is just a rare case, in my
Yeah, I
opinion.
mean, I won't. I generally, when it comes to board games, I generally don't get my. I don't. Even if I'm a fan, I don't really back off from criticizing. I like tomorrow if Ryan Canizia makes a bad, if a game is not good, I will outrightly say it's not a good game. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I can't get. Like I said, for me, board games are very specific. I play board games for a very specific reason. I look for something very specific in board games. I'm a little loosey goosey when it comes to video games. Video games, like even if the gameplay is bad, clunky, I can tolerate it. I'll still sit and play it. But board games are so specific. The reason why I feel so specific about board games is because the amount of time they take to
Mm.
not only take time, they physically take a lot of space. You have to
Mm.
gather friends. You are taking time out from everything else. You're sitting down and playing the game, and the rule doesn't work. I just can't,
Mm.
that really really annoys me. And
Yeah, I can get that.
yeah, so for me, that is one reason why I'm super harsh on this thing. And even if it's Kickstarter, because Isaac is not the only game that is has been a publisher, single publisher. There are so many games like that, like plenty of
Yes.
games on Kickstarter. Some which are good, some which are bad. I have bought so many games, like the small games. I got it to play with you guys, with you and Azu. Some we hated it. We played it. We are like, what is this? Like simple game, like where you're matching
Mm-hmm.
the Tetris piece, and we didn't like it. Project L
Mm-hmm.
was also the one we played with Ozzy. Was a
Yeah.
Kickstarter, very small team of people. So there are. However, to me, if you have done your best and you still have some mistake, that is fine. I mean, as an individual, you gave it to playtest. Playtesters couldn't find it, but if you're trying to save money, you're designing a game. Now, I initially going back to what I said. I told you that designers are the worst people to write a rule book. Remember what I said? So
Mm-hmm.
there was a
Yes, yes,
discussion in Paul Grogan's Slack. I didn't understand. I never used to understand this. Now I get it. What they mean is like designers, when they write a rule book, they know the game in and out, right? So
yes.
they make assumption,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not their fault. It's just the way we work. Like we assume that the other person out there knows
Mm-hmm.
what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about. And personally, for me, that hit home really hard because I'm not a computer science student. I never took computer science. I have no background in computer science. Excuse me, Gabo. Sorry. Oh my goodness, I would have crashed. Sorry, excuse me. Should have muted, but I can't reach to mute.
You crashed Discord again.
I would
That's
have.
easy.
One more. Oh my god, I think Renu was grinding
Bless
something. So,
No,
no? I don't know. Something got into my.
I'm not a getting and you are getting.
So, yeah, for me it hit home hard. The reason being, the concept of coding. I learned coding myself, like completely from
Mhm.
scratch, and you have no idea how hard it was for me. Like in the sense, I don't have a teacher, right? I didn't learn under
Mhm.
any particular teacher. I did not have a course, so I'm learning
Mhm.
from YouTube. I'm learning from books. I'm
Yeah,
learning. I mean,
responsibility.
I'm talking about like way back, and there are certain tutorials which say they're for beginners.
Mhm.
It's so misleading. The reason being
Mhm.
that they're assuming that people know what a fucking for loop means. A person who
Yeah.
has no idea of what a concept of variable is, how variable lives in the memory, how are you explaining? A variable is something. I hate the explanation when they, for beginner tutorials where they try to simplify and they explain that
Mm-hmm.
variable is nothing but think of it like a box where you put stuff in. That is not true. That is the wrong way of looking at it. And I didn't understand. Like, so this is just an example. For me, what I'm saying is it hit home hard is like someone who knows programming makes assumption that the person who is watching, because in their head they already have the knowledge. So the same thing with designers. Like designers already have the knowledge. So if they write a rule book, they're going to skip certain parts. They think it's not important because they already have the assumption, right? And that's why you should always give it to a third party who's not involved or who has play tested your game. And then the designers generally give a rough rule to the rulebook writer, and then the rulebook writers write it. And then rulebook has the technicality of it, which you were actually going through, like you were saying how difficult it is. That is absolutely on board with you. It is extremely, it's one of the most difficult tasks, I would say, like getting a rulebook ready, because the pictures, what has to come from the flow. And another rulebook which is amazing, which a game we both love, we actually three of us love, is Gaia Project. Amazing rulebook. Now in that also there were some questions I had when I was reading, and the mistake was on me because I skipped that part and I went ahead and I was reading. If the rulebook had it, I skipped it, So it was my mistake, and I cannot blame the rulebook for that or my misunderstanding. So I won't blame the rulebook for that. Like even Nippon, like I was talking to you about Nippon Watch Your Game. I did not understand. It was about two-player game about filling the people back in when the meeples run out. It's there in the rule book. For some reason, I don't know, my brain did not read it correctly. But when I asked the question on BGG, and they said no, wrong, then they quoted the rule book, like someone copy pasted the rule book and follow this. This is how it. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck? Like it's so simple. Like so, I missed it. So I cannot blame the rule book here. I have to say it was like more like a lack of understanding, right? So it was on me. But that part, I'm with you. Like I get it. But at least the rule book has it. And Renu was saying something very interesting yesterday. I don't know if it's her way of looking at it. I wanted to share it with you. So what she was saying is that in a language, right? If a language has government official document written on it, that is law, like you have a country's law, like for example in Poland, I'm assuming it's going to be in Polish, your law, your constitution, everything. For us, it's written in all the official languages, like Hindi, English, and the other regional languages, right? And so on and so forth. In France, in French. So if you can write a law which cannot be interpreted, I mean, you can interpret law and then you go to court and then you debate and you fight, and one side loses or the other side wins. The interpretation of law is also something that happens all the time.
Yeah.
So, but the law is written in the language. So what she was saying was that if a law is written in the language, you can write a rule book yes, understanding it is a different aspect, but wording it, if a law is written, you can write in any language, you can write a rule book in that language. So that was like a very interesting point.
A law can be written, you can write a rule. Wait, I don't understand what you're trying to say.
I was talking about, I was asking her, like, we were discussing about, I didn't give you the content, we were discussing about language, and we were saying, what if one language, it's like in English, since English, I call it almost an emotionless language. It doesn't have the nuances of regional languages, or it's a very neutral language. So let's say we were discussing like in Indian language, one of the Indian language, when you write a rule book, like the way you read it, like the way how people read certain things is different from how my people interpret it, right? Like in India itself, because of the language discrepancies. So then we were like, can rule book be written in that language to make sense? So she was like telling me like, if there is a government document in that language, you can definitely write, because that means the language is sophisticated enough that it can add technicalities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's. So.
Yeah, but again, what words you choose will determine how
that is
people
true.
will understand.
That is true. That is a very tough. That is a very tough thing to. So, which brings us to another very interesting topic. So, like, yeah, by the end of the day, like, I agree. I mean, you are a little kinder, I'm a little harsher, and I think I'm going to stay harsh for that matter. But
Going straight, I didn't understand, like, your mic is clipping very much.
Can you hear me?
I mean,
Can you hear me now?
now, yes. Oh, now I think better.
Okay, because I'm not using my headset mic. I'm using sorry, controller mic. I'm using a different mic, like a dedicated
Okay.
mic. You can hear me, right, Gabo?
Yes.
So I was saying like you are a little kinder in that. Like I probably won't, even if I'm like a fan of a game. Like tomorrow, say, uh, I don't know, a game that I enjoyed, like Flight School, the game that I played, right?
Uh-huh.
Stonefly and Creature in the Weather. Board game comes out and the rule book is bad. I'm going to fucking bash them. I don't care who they are. Like, even though I love the video game, like, dude, you should have done your research, or you should have given it for playtesting and make, like, if you made the rule yourself and then you made your mother read it and you didn't let anybody else read it, then that's on you. Like, because that's not how you design a
But
rule
if you
book.
just, but if you wanted to make a board game and you just made it by yourself with heart, and you did like you made some people like read it and for profit for you, but still, it's not like something like a total professional will do. And you then put it out, you feel good about yourself, you did something interesting, and then people start bashing you about I don't
Yeah,
really like this one.
if you just answered yourself, you didn't put it out. You should put it out. Like I will, if I'm making a game, and I'm ready in the prototype phase, which is ready to go almost like it's ready to release public, but I want to get the rulebook ready. I'll put it on BGG. I'll be like, can you read
Mhm.
this rulebook? Can you make sense of the game? Like if someone says no, this wording is absolutely no sense, I'm like, okay, fine. There you go. Criticism number one, which is awesome. Like you get it.
Let's just put it this way.
Oh, Renault's here.
I'm
Okay,
not a
I see.
play tester of the game. I'm a player of the game. I expect a finished product.
Which is you and Ozzy are on the same page in this regard. So
Uh-huh.
For board game, video games, okay, fine, I can be.
yeah, video games is a little different. I mean, but I'm saying, yeah, like it's like I don't know if I don't know how much I used to listen to Rado a lot. So Rado, you know Rado, right? Our
Yeah,
beloved
yeah.
Rado. Yeah, he hates, absolutely hates home ruling. What do you call it? Home rules for games, right? Like changing rules so that
Mhm.
this situation didn't matter, so let's do it this way, like home rules. We all have done that. I initially did not understand him, but now I get him. Like he's like, it's not your duty as a player to
I mean,
decide the rule.
I don't like that either.
Hmm.
Like, I don't like doing that. It's not about that. I mean, it's difficult for me to like, again, pinpoint why is this different? Because I would get angry in situations that you're describing,
Hmm.
and I would get angry as the same as you're getting angry.
You're talking, are you talking about Isaac or you're talking about generally?
Generally,
Okay.
but there's something here that just doesn't trigger me, and I don't know what.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Why am I not triggered by this concrete example? It's because I don't think.
Because you're a good person, Gabo.
Maybe, but I think I just think that they explained the game, and they thought they did a good job.
Well,
That's what I feel.
that's what I'm saying. It's like their thought is not good enough for me because it's not. I'm not getting it for free. I'm paying money, real hard-earned money. I'm giving my time. I'm getting my friends who are ready to play with me. I'm
Yeah.
setting up the table. I'm
But I
willing
can
to
still
give.
enjoy the game.
I mean, again, like there is for let's see. I don't know which one should I give you an example of. Like, there's a game, Bus. Okay, Bus. When I read so I kick myself for not backing Bus because that game is one of the best games I've played. However, when I read the rule book, I was like, this is like so bad. I mean, like I didn't enjoy it. I didn't like it at all. So I didn't back it. And I think the rulebook was under prototype something. I don't remember. It was like 2-3 years back. But yeah, I remember not enjoying the rulebook, and I was like, I'm not backing this
Mhm.
game. But I regret not backing it because I really enjoyed it, and the rulebook was okay apparently as it released, right? So I probably judged it too early. But
And maybe that's a similar case. So the rulebook isn't good, but the game is good. You know, the
but
rulebook.
there is no
Yeah.
game without the rulebook for someone who doesn't know
Yeah,
the
I
game.
understand. I understand. I
Yeah.
understand. You can still play the game based on that rulebook. It's not like it's unplayable. Like there's like for example 2 rules missing in there or something. No, it's just when you play in the middle of the play, you start like getting those questions and you look into the rulebook, and it's not like because it says like you can activate it in response to any action. So it says any action, right?
Hmm.
but it just didn't click with me that any action equals mine or other players, because he describes in a separate paragraph only how to respond to other players. So I
Hmm.
just assumed in a weird way that respond, and also the use of the word respond. You don't respond to yourself usually. Responding is to something
Mm,
else,
well,
right?
I
I
mean,
don't know. It
hmm,
didn't click with me. Like I
hmm.
didn't get that. So that's why I cannot be bad at them, because that's like part of my. I cannot be bad
But
at
you
them
said
because I
nobody else
cannot.
had this question, so it was just mainly
Yes,
like you. Hmm.
yes. But they had other questions about the stacking and stuff. But then again, I didn't have those questions,
Hmm,
right?
exactly.
So it's weird. Like
I mean,
some
Gabo, that's the
people
thing.
will
It's
read that. Some people will read that and they will understand it perfectly and they will play it perfectly. That's the
exactly.
thing.
So it
Uh,
depends on how. Like, yeah, if some people can play it, then I would say okay, the rulebook has done its job. Like, it's mainly like when I said the questions about, like, I give you a very specific example about Agra, and you don't even have to go far. You just open Agra forums and click on the rule tab, and you will see interpretations. I am thinking this is how it is. Now, Agra's rulebook is 35 pages or something. It's like huge,
mm.
or 28 pages. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's also a different case, right? Because this is just a slip of paper. So if that was 35 pages of constantly, what does this mean? What does this mean? I don't, is this or this? Like,
and they also
ambiguity.
had exactly, and they made Terramara, which is like, I didn't like the game, but the rule book also was fucking annoying in that case
Mm.
as well. Now, you could always today there is a medium of videos, like you can go watch Rodney Smith, Gaming Rules, John Get Games, any
Yes.
of those people and watch it. I personally don't like it because I like reading rulebook myself and then watching it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason for that, because I don't learn from videos. I either someone like say you explain the game to me, or I read it myself. That's how I learn a game. It's
Mm.
very difficult for me to learn a game by just by watching video. I forget very instantly, unless I'm sure. Like for example, Kemet, right? I watch the video, and then you explain the game to me. So that is like double. So it's okay for me, right?
Mm.
Like I can learn it. But if you're not explaining the game to me, or I have to reiterate. Like for example, I learn the game, and then I say it's a game none of us have played. We are going to Ozzy's place, and I explain the game, then that's okay, because then in that case I'm reiterating everything. But
Mm-hmm.
if you ask me
Mm-hmm.
to play a new game and I have to teach it to people, I will read the rule book. It's very difficult to get for me to just get from the video. But
If I,
hmm,
yeah, if I play a game and I know that somebody else knows the rules, then I'll just watch a video and then I'll understand the main, like how do you play
core
the
concept.
game,
Hmm.
core concept, and then if I have any questions, I'll just ask them as we
Yes,
go, for
yes.
example,
But
right?
but you will get an explanation, is what you're saying, right? Like you do get an explanation. My God, I'm
I
so
don't
sleepy.
have to, like, that's something that Ozzy does. Like
He
he
is too much.
he needs to explain every single thing before we start,
Yeah,
even
which
though
is
everyone knows.
he explains worker placement to board gamers who are like played 10,000 games before. Like, yes, he has played
Yes.
more games than us, which is true, but at the same time we have played our share of games. We don't need to know what a worker placement is, just tell us. However, we had a discussion. I had a discussion with Oz about this. I don't remember which one was it. Archipelago. Anyway, one of the games we were playing, and I told him, Oz, we don't need to know the explanation of this thing because we already know. So he had
Mm-hmm.
a point which I partially agree with him. So games which has worker placement, yes, which is true. Like generally keep a worker, do an action. But let's just say there is someone who hasn't played, who has played worker placement game, but we are going to play Riders of the North Sea, which has keep a worker, do an action, then pick a worker and do an action again. That's how the worker placement works in that.
Mm-hmm.
So you do two actions on your turn, and you take two meeples. You place a meeple and you take a meeple.
Mm-hmm.
So that is how that one works. So that's a slightly different. And there is another game. I forgot the name. Urgent the Consortium. Oh, fuck! I can't get the name of the game. In that you place your worker, okay, and the worker
Mm-hmm.
is meaningless. It has no power. And then after everybody places a worker, say you, me, Renu, Azu, everyone places a worker, and then we have cards in our hand, and we all take turns, and we reveal the card, and then when we reveal the card, that worker we placed will become something. Till then, it is nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knows
Mm-hmm.
what the worker is going to do. So it's a
Okay.
twist on worker placement game. So these kind of
Yes.
things you have to explain.
Of course. I
So,
wouldn't.
mm,
If you didn't know the game,
mm,
if you didn't know anything about the game, I wouldn't explain it to you just by saying, okay, it's a worker placement game, and that's it.
mm,
Like, and of course some other rules, but like the core thing, I wouldn't like say just that because I know how many twists. Like every worker placement game has its own thing.
Yes,
Like there are some similarities, of course. Like the core
placing the
concept
worker.
is there, but
Yes.
you have to explain. You have to explain like how does this work here. What I'm more saying about Oz is like like okay, we are prepared. We know how to play the game. Let's play the game, and he still wants to go over every single rule, right? So
Yeah.
that's the thing that I
Yeah.
was
That is
more.
that. That is
Yeah,
that is Oz being Oz. Yes, I agree.
exactly.
Hmm.
But yeah, I can get behind that he wants to explain how worker placement works because yeah, there's tons of different types of worker
But
placement.
personally, for me, like if I'm playing with you, say,
Mm-hmm.
you have played worker placement game, I would say, Gabo, this is a worker placement game. So you already have an idea. Then I'll explain the rules to you. Like that's how I generally do. Like this is a card drafting game,
Yes,
so you know
yes,
what it
yes, yes.
means.
So
So,
so that I'm on the most general page that there is, I am on the same page as you.
hmm.
So
Then
if
I
you
go,
don't say
yeah,
that and you
yeah.
just start like explaining the game, I could say, okay, there's a lot of cards in this game. Maybe it's a card game. And then you start explaining the rules, and I'm like thinking in terms of card game because you didn't say it's a worker placement game, for example, right?
Hmm.
And I'm thinking in terms of okay, it's a card game with these rules, and I'm like starting to like imagine things related to card games that shouldn't be there because I have
Yeah.
like this assumption,
Or you
right?
assume, yes, yes, exactly, exactly.
Exactly. That's why the thing that you say the general concept first and then you go into details is very good, like an
Yes,
explanation, right?
I do. I think I like it. I had no problem with even once. I never had a problem with your explanation. I think I got the game. I'm actually trying. So you, then there is Charlie. Oh my God, Charlie is such an awesome teacher. But the
Yeah.
reason Charlie is good is because he demos games for Fantasy Flight games and all. He actually does like on convention. He goes and demos games for them for people. So
Okay.
the way he taught me brass, man, like I'll never forget brass ever in my life. Like it's like so good. Like one of the best learning sessions I had. Scythe was taught to me by him, and then that's how I teach Scythe to people.
Lahav to me.
Huh?
Lahav.
Lahar we taught you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Renu played Lahar with him. So it's he's just, but he's, you can say he's trained. I
Hmm.
am always trying a way to get, because I love teaching board games. I am always trying a way to like improve my teaching. You know, like how can I teach
Hmm.
the best way, like so that it doesn't become boring, but also I have a tendency of speaking in context, but sometimes I miss it. So I generally start my conversation teaching a board game with, these are the pieces, like this is
Mm-hmm.
because then I don't have like, okay, now players know what these are, and then I go into the rules. That's generally, I'm not saying that's the
Yeah.
best way to do it, but I like doing it that way.
There's a lot of ways how you can do it. But about
Yeah.
Charlie, like he actually when we played with the Aussie the last time, no,
Hmm.
two times before when you were in India,
Hmm.
we played with Aussie, the three of us, and we played Settlers of the North at Aussie's place.
Hmm.
Settlers of the North, that's how the game is called, right?
The uh,
Settlers.
which
What?
one? You
Set,
Portal games?
some.
Northern, yeah,
Uh,
Settlers of the Northern. Shit, come on. Okay, I
no,
got the game
it's
though. I got the
something
game. Though.
Settlers.
Yes.
Settlers of the North Sea.
No, the Imperial Settlers.
Ah.
Imperial Settlers. Sorry,
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Like, okay, never mind. And Charlie taught us the game, but he
Hmm.
did a very bad job. I don't
Really?
know why.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
don't know
he
what.
was like, so Ozzy didn't get it at all,
Hmm.
and he asked like a question
Hmm.
to Charlie, like, so is this? So you do it this, and then do this, and then Charlie's like, yeah, of course. So he, so it was like he was assuming that everyone knows what it's gonna
I
be,
have no idea.
and
I mean,
nobody knew. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know what happened.
he has taught us. He taught me terraforming Mars. One of the best tutorials I had. Like the reason I loved engine building is because of his teaching. And then brass, of course, he taught me. Scythe, he taught me. Viticulture. No, viticulture was taught by Brian. Then even he was amazing. Then Rob is really good at party games. He teaches party games really well.
Mhm.
So Rob is also not bad as a bad teacher. You, Rob, Charlie, I don't mind. Like, yeah, there are people who teach me games that I trust. Ozzy, not so much, but Ozzy knows that. I mean, he knows his shortcomings, and
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So Raphael, maybe not. I mean, he has taught us very complicated games like Pax Porphyrion and Pax. It wasn't that bad. then
Mhm.
yeah, there are some people who just don't know how to teach board games, and it's kind of like one of my friend is there who loves going by theme, which I can't do it because I understand his side. Like he likes taking theme and explaining the game through theme and story.
Mhm.
I for me I can't do that. Like for my board games are pure mechanics, right? So I need to know from the mechanic standpoint, and then I
Mm.
understand.
I sometimes do it when I feel that it helped me
Hmm.
remember some rules.
Sure,
Because
agreed.
sometimes
Yes,
theme can help you remember stuff,
yes,
right?
yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So only then I like, but I don't like start with. Of course I start with the premise of the game, like
Sorry,
the
Gabo.
theme
I'm sorry to
thematic.
interrupt. We'll do one more delivery. Is that okay? I do have time.
Sure. What time is
But
it?
it's 9:45. I should have gone, but it is like it's okay.
Sure. Let's do it.
So it's a nice path
Oh,
from we are
it's
going
raining.
from Denmark to Sweden, which is
Ooh.
awesome.
Where are you?
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
right
you're
next
with
to you.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I need to sleep first.
Yeah, me too. Choose a cargo. Let's go to sleep.
I chose a cargo yacht. We are carrying a yacht, like a big giant yacht.
A yacht. Nice.
Oh, it's
Okay,
right here. It's right here.
Where here?
Yeah, right here. Like where we are.
Okay.
So is there a sleeping point? Let's pick it up and sleep.
Uh huh. But you have to pick it up before I can even accept the job. That's weird.
Oh, let me do that.
No detailed job data available. Okay, I can ban you. 50%.
You're too harsh on developers. Get out of my lobby.
I will ban you for talking trash about
People who
rulebooks.
can't write rule books. Dude, yeah.
Oh, I
I-
can see your yacht. Okay.
Yeah, boy, this looks awesome. So, yeah, let me just go get some
Oh.
sleep and then I'll.
Oh, but wait, your your
What's
job
up?
is unknown job.
What?
Okay, that's weird.
Can you take it?
Okay.
As I can like tell fuck off to the job.
I mean, I can probably find it because it's an external contract or no?
Yes.
Oh, I don't have it here. Because those external contracts they're online, right?
Mm.
And probably it's not on my online session or something. I don't know. And it says unknown job for me.
What if you take it?
I can't. I cannot.
Okay, let me cancel the job.
What if
then.
What if I close session? No, I don't know what happens to your job.
I'll-
then. Okay,
I'll-
no, I'll close session and I'll join again. Let's see what happens.
Oh, it went away. I mean,
What?
I got disconnected from the convoy.
Yeah, and then you press accept, and what happens?
Accept what?
I mean, you get disconnected. You press OK, then you accept the.
Nothing. It just
progress?
brought me to the lobby. And
Uh,
to the.
If you press drive, are you still in the?
No, I'm individual, right? Let me check. I'll be alone. Yeah. Oh, I still have my job though.
Right. Okay, so can you? Sorry, actually started. I didn't want to start. Can you start a convoy and I'll try to join to you, and we'll see if that works.
Yes, just did.
What?
I just did the convoy.
Convoy, Gabo go. Join.
Can you see it? Oh, it's nice.
Convoy. Unknown job. Your job is unknown to me.
Fuck, dude. Fuck this job. Go away.
Gabo doesn't do
Yachts.
yachts. For some reason.
Okay, I cancel my job. You're waiting for another truck driver to take your cargo.
I don't see anything interesting in this place, in this city.
City? Let me go to external contract and check job market.
Oh no, maybe this one. Metal counter centering. Metal centering seems interesting.
Where is
What
it?
if I...
Okay, accept it.
Oh, it's actually a little bit further away. A little bit out. Oh, it's not that. It's quite far away actually. Why? It says Hamburg. Oh no, it's just this very little job. Where
5 minutes.
very small.
Oh, 5 minutes? Oh, Gabo, I'll have to leave. Sorry. 5 minutes of
Oh.
Before we go, sorry, so let's not take a job. We'll just talk here. I wanted to ask you. Let's go to sleep. I wanted to ask you a question. To be honest, this is for
Uh-huh.
in Python, right? Like, so if you're explaining Python to a new person, and like just a intermediate person, obviously only intermediate
I
people
would
will.
never be able to explain programming language to anyone, probably.
But I just wanted to ask you a question. Like, how would you explain? Like,
Uh-huh.
say, let's I'm asking a question. Someone is asking a question now. Where would you use and why would you use class methods?
Where and why would I use class methods?
Hmm. Like static methods, I get it. But
Hmm.
why would you use
I'm
class
very
methods?
bad. I'm very bad at terminology, to be honest. Wait, class methods.
Okay, so you have class. You have. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
explaining the
And they
terminology.
have methods, right?
You have
Yeah,
methods,
yeah.
and then you put the add symbol and write class method on top, which is a decorator, and then you have. So so that it's called a class method.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know why it's used, but I'm not able to
Red light.
explain it.
Oh, you're doing that.
Yeah,
Explain.
yeah,
Okay, sorry.
yeah. Because I'm like getting penalty for
I
not
still
sleeping.
got. I still got the penalty for it.
I didn't get it. I got it. I got it. But you have to go like it's a trick, man. Sometimes I think you have to go
Right.
outside the boundary.
Alright.
Because I'm getting penalty for not sleeping, so I thought I'll go. Oh, this is not. This is a garage
so
we need to
left.
buy.
So
Left,
left
right?
be behind us. Is there
So-
a car behind? No.
So I was wondering, how would you explain something to someone who doesn't know? Because that seems to be like one of the worst explained concept in at least for non-programmers out there. Even for me. Do you use class method? Like, do you use a decorator calling add class method? Now I
I
understand.
mean, I don't. First and foremost, I don't use Python much. I used it before.
What do
now
you use?
I'm
C?
like C++.
Oh,
Full C++
Jesus, dude.
right now for 5 years.
Okay.
So coming back to Python is first.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different because C++.
Yeah.
For me, C++. I just have a wrapper knowledge of C++. But that I mean, like I use a expression language, which is a software specific language, which is somewhat like C++, but it's not really C++. You know. So
But like mainly,
I do want to learn though.
like class methods you use when the class has some kind of, because classes they have those, what do they call them? Jesus, I'm so bad at terminology, programmable.
You
terminology.
can just tell me in
So
general.
classes have members, right?
Yeah, you're talking about the not in I know the scope. It's called scope.
Scope?
Yeah, the scope at which global scope a variable outside a class can be accessed by everybody, but a variable inside a method cannot be accessed by.
By, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's what I meant. Yeah.
So they describe, so if you have, I don't know, a class dog, it has methods like nose, ears, and stuff. Not methods, members.
Members,
Like nose,
mm.
ears, and stuff, right?
Attributes.
So if it does attributes, okay. Fuck. So if it does something,
Sorry.
so if the class does something, you can make a method for that class that does something. So it's like this class is responsible for doing something, and the method will be used to do that thing. So for example, if a dog barks and you want to program like barking, that method will be inside that class, so the dog will bark. For example.
That is a class method, yes. But here the Python, I think I see what you're saying is I know that, but there is something called specifically called class. So do you know decorators in Python, right?
Decorators, I forgot.
So it's like a so it's almost like it's not really recursion, but you can have a function call another function, do something, and exit out. So you are wrapping the function inside another function.
Okay.
So because functions are first class objects in Python, right? Like they're objects. So you can wrap that function inside another function like an object, and then do something and exit out. So class method is a decorator, but it's so difficult for me to I know where to use class method if I get the opportunity. But I want to explain this to someone, and I'm like, how do I explain this concept? It's so hard for me. Like I'm not which gives a concrete example. So I
how
wanted.
would you?
I don't know. That's why I wanted your help. Maybe if you in your free time, if you can read up on it or whatever, like if you get it, if you get like if you're interested to know what, like if you want to know, I'll keep asking people. I mean, who are better than me at
Class
coding.
methods.
Yeah. Class methods in Python. It's a decorator actually. Yeah.
Fuck, what's a decorator? Okay.
Yeah, that's what you wrap a function inside another function, and because you want to execute a code before that, like for example the dog barking, maybe before the dog barking you want the ears to bend backwards, so you have a decorator which does that, and then the dog executes the barking, if that makes sense. So it's like a function inside a function.
So why is the ear wrapping not a method?
That yeah, you could have its own function, right? Like yeah, of course. I mean, I can give I can give you an example in what I do, like with CG. But like to give in a generic example, let's see. This is where I have trouble explaining. This is exactly why I was asking you, because if someone asks me this question, how do I say it in a layman's term, right? So if another artist asks me, that is. So the reason you want this to happen is because you want something to execute before this function execute, and not before that. Like only when this function is ready to execute, you want something to happen. Like say when function D is about to execute, only and only then dx has to execute. Before that, dx is invalid. It has no context. It doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why you decorate D with dx, and then the decorator does the function, does whatever it does, and then the function executes. D executes. So that's how I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm trying to think at it in terms of C++, which is very not a...
yeah, I think so. When you write C++, am I right in saying C++ is an object-oriented programming language? It is,
Yes.
right? It is.
Yes.
Okay. So you deal with objects.
I hated. I couldn't understand objective-based programming,
Oh, and you are an engineer.
Yes,
Like
but I never wanted. Look, I never wanted to be a programmer. Never.
oh, really? I thought you
Yes,
went by
I-
choice, man. Okay, that's surprising.
No, never wanted to be a programmer. I did.
Sorry, Gabo.
automation.
One second. Let
Oh,
me
you
stop.
have to go.